Hi, I'm Donald Pitt, the founder and Managing Director of Quality Building Management. As you can see from this list, I hold a large number of licenses and qualifications to be able to discuss this topic with you today. I hold trade qualifications, carpentry, joinery and wall plastering, and I've been a licensed builder since 1981. I have licensing to conduct and certify fire equipment, am a safety professional, fire safety advisor, and a licensed asbestos assessor. The topic that we're going to discuss today is fire safety for owners corporations, New South Wales. What is AS 1851? Well, it's an Australian standard for the routine servicing of fire equipment. There was a major review conducted on the old 2005 version, which was released in December 2012. It's going to be implemented on the 1st of January 2015. Now, there's state referencing so that all states reference 1851 except New South Wales and WA. But can New South Wales reference or use 1851? Definitely yes, because without abiding by this standard, there is no other method of successfully maintaining fire equipment. So what's the legislation? Well, you've got the EPA Act, EPA regulations, health and safety regs, and then the 1851. So what are the major changes to 1851? Look, in a nutshell, it limits some of the servicing on number of items. So it saves bodies corporate money. Just look at this list here, like sprinkler systems, there's no weekly testing, 3 yearly or 5 yearly testing. But with the fire smoke systems, such as fire doors, there's no 3 monthly testing. So on fire doors, for residential, there's only a need for 12 monthly testing now, not 6 monthly. That's only for commercial properties. But there's a new area called evacuation. It's now called emergency planning of facilities, and there's a need to develop the emergency management plan and review it every 6 months and conduct an evacuation practice every 12 months. Logbooks can also be electronic. But even if they're an electronic logbook and using tag system for extinguishers and so on, there's still a need to leave a summary log on site. So how do these changes impact you? Well, just make sure that your service contractor limits their servicing to the new standard. You don't want to over-service. What are the linkages then between 1851 and the EPA regulations that the bodies corporate and owners corporation are actually concerned with? Well, remember, New South Wales does not reference 1851, and New South Wales refers to fire equipment as essential fire safety measures. So maintenance of fire, under the EPA, we're going to read this out here, the maintenance of fire equipment is based upon what's included in the building's fire safety schedule. Now, if it's not included in the fire safety schedule, it must be maintained to the standard it was originally installed. But if it is on the fire safety schedule, it's to be maintained to the standard that's included on the schedule. But most of the fire safety standard or schedules reference the BCA and other Australian standards. So I'll give you an example for fire exit lights and emergency lights. So fire safety schedules reference Australian standard AS 2292.1, which is the installation of the lights and exit and emergency lights. But then AS 2292.1 references 2292.2 for the servicing of it. Thus, 1851 and the Australian standards for maintenance are actually included in the fire safety schedules. And also, the majority of councils and the fire service recommend to maintain to 1851 because there isn't any other standard. So where have owners corporations been failing? Well, fire doors haven't been tested, and in many cases, fire doors are in poor condition. The fire safety statements haven't been submitted on a yearly basis, and fire walls and penetrations have never been inspected. Plus, maintenance records, when they are obtained, they're not held on site. So what do you need to do? Well, firstly, you must obtain a copy of the original fire safety schedule, which lists all the equipment on site and the standard to which they're to be maintained. Then conduct an audit to ensure compliance of the maintenance that they are being maintained by a qualified person to the fire safety schedule, and regularly or periodically inspect firewalls and penetrations. Ensure all the equipment is maintained and that you keep test logs or a summary log, which you may need to do now, and that has to be kept on site and in an area, either in a firebox or some other area that's they're protected from the effects of fire. And ensure that you send a fire safety statement to the local authority each 12 months. So what if you don't comply? Look, there's legal considerations. For all of the legislation, there are penalties and fines which are quite severe. But let's just leave these aside for a moment and consider other areas, like insurance. Will your insurance company cover you if you're not compliant to the fire regulations? Well, I posed that question to the insurance companies, and their answer is, it depends. So what does it depends mean? Well, I don't know. Maybe they don't know, or they won't tell you. Maybe it means they'll cover you. Maybe they won't cover you. Maybe they'll cover the areas that you are compliant in and not cover you for the other areas where you're not compliant. We don't know. So is it worth the risk? And what about loss of possessions? Can the owner's corporation afford to replace all lost items? But more importantly, what about injury and loss of life? What money saving is the owner's corporation prepared to place upon a person's life? So is the few $100s required for full compliance worth a serious injury? I'm Donald Pitt, and thank you for your time today.